On the 7th of October, Hamas terrorists invaded Israel. Right here, they killed Israelis. They raped our women. They beheaded the children. They burned entire families alive. Hamas themselves uploaded those videos. But the problem is that there are people who are denying the massacre. But here's the problem. For them, we have survivors. And each and every one of them are ready to testify and tell the stories. Rafaela is one of them, and she's with us today.
I got here on the 6th of October. We came here to dance. People happy and sort of grabbing the energy of the day beginning, and everyone dancing and jumping and happy. And suddenly the music stopped. When the music stopped, we started looking around and didn't understand. Maybe it was a problem, I don't know. My boyfriend was with me, and then we looked up and we saw a lot of rockets, an amount that was very unusual. We knew that when you have rockets, you have to find a shelter. So he grabbed my hand and we started going around and walking around, like going to our camp and going there, just searching for a place to hide because, you know, the shelters that are here and there, they weren't here the day of the party. So as you can see, we're pretty much in an open space.
Open space.
Yeah. And we started running just to get out
Where?
of the party.
Where?
We went to the road. There were no cars, no noise, no one around, and we were like, started running there. He told us to go the other way. Okay, let's run to this way. And in the middle of the way, somehow, someone from the party stopped and saw us. We said, no, please, we need a ride.
So this is the point where you actually stop the car, right?
Yeah, around here. So we didn't know exactly where we were going to stop and what we were going to do from there. We just knew that we had to find a shelter. We got here, the three of us, and we found some peace on the stress that we're in.
So you didn't realize that this is going to be a death trap?
No, I thought on the contrary. I thought this was the place that would keep me safe. We didn't know what was going on in Israel. We weren't on our phones. What we did on our phones were tell our families and our location to tell them that we are already in the shelter. We got the three of us inside, and all of the pressure goes down. Talking and laughing and calming each other down, send our locations to our family just to say that we are already on the shelter because they were a bit worried, because they were in Tel Aviv or Ramat Gan. And a few minutes after we got inside, we started seeing a lot of people also coming inside of the shelter, people that were in the party. We became 40 people inside of the shelter.
Wait. This.
40 people.
Here, 40
people, one on the other. 40 people that were super tight. I was the only one sitting down. I couldn't even see the person that was in the other corner that is here. It's almost one arm away. I couldn't see the person that was in the other corner. And we don't know what was going on, how many people are outside, what are we gonna do, how are we gonna get out. The people were scared. They were getting more and more inside and getting one on top of the other. I was here with my boyfriend. My boyfriend grabbed my face and we were here to the wall talking to each other. He was telling me, babe, look at my eyes and forget about everything that's going on in here. Rafa was on us praying, and people were telling each other just to stay quiet and praying. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, just praying for their lives. We heard her getting killed, and after that, the terrorists celebrating and screaming, Allahu Akbar! And we were inside and didn't know what to do. And they threw inside the first gas grenade. I couldn't breathe whatsoever. I would try to get air inside, and it would just... They were screaming. They would wait for the gas to go a little bit down, and they would get inside and shoot everyone that was moving. I, meanwhile, was looking at them and tried to pretend I was dead. I just kept my head so low and I wouldn't move. I didn't move from this position for like 5 hours. And I was telling my boyfriend that I wanted to get out of here, and I didn't know what to do, and he was looking at me and trying to calm me down. And Rafa was praying, and everyone was screaming and praying and telling each other to stay quiet, and people were saying...
At that time, people died inside?
Yeah, they were shooting people. People were dying.
How many people died inside this?
30 people.
How many survived?
10. And another 2 that were outside. I'm gonna get to them. We got to a point that I remember I passed out and woke up, and I heard a lot of people saying, "Tiftechu et hadelet!"
Open the door.
Open the door!
But there's no doors here.
But it was so dark inside that the people that were in the back started to imagine that maybe there was a door. It was so dark we couldn't see anything, like you have your eyes closed in a dark room. We couldn't see nothing. We just heard them laughing at us and screaming and celebrating. Like it was fun to them to finally find a place. There are so many Jews confined and can't move and can't do anything about themselves. They were so glad and proud of what they were doing. And I was panicked, and people were screaming and crying and hurt and bleeding. There were best friends that watched each other literally die and bleed in front of their eyes, one next to each other. Everyone came inside of here in groups. 3 friends, brother and sister, boyfriend and girlfriend, and everyone got separated from the people that they most loved.
What?
There was a point that I was in the corner. Somehow, a young woman fell on me, on my chest, while I was in the floor. The both of them were standing, and I was in the floor, and a girl fell on me.
She was standing and she fell on you.
There were a lot of people sort of lying down, one on top of the other. She fell on me, somehow. With the gas, smoke, shots, scream. I couldn't breathe already. With her on me, even less. So I looked at Rafa and at Hanani, and I told them, please help me, just get her off me. I can't breathe, I'm gonna die. That was my sentences.
What happened?
They tried with everything they could.
She was alive.
She was alive. She was hysterical. She was panicked. She couldn't talk or move or listen. And every time they would try to get her off me, she would another time go back to the floor. She was panicked, hysterical. She wasn't here.
What was she saying to you?
She was just screaming.
What?
Alo chola, I can't. The panicked. And I was asking for Hanani and Rafa, please help me, take her off me. And they were trying, but there were so many people, so much gas, so much everything going on that they couldn't. And Hanani that was standing here and watching his girlfriend, the person that he's supposed to protect, and he couldn't do anything. He lost his calmness, and he started screaming at her. And he said to her in Hebrew, "Bevakasha tiragi. אני רוצה רק להוציא אותך ממנה. Please just calm down. I just want to take her off her. Please." And she wouldn't listen.
That panicked you. So where was he?
He was at the entrance, right there. I couldn't see him. I was on the floor, and it was very dark. And Rafa, he wasn't next to me. He went over the bodies because he couldn't breathe anymore. He kind of gave up at some point. There were people screaming. There was a guy that he was under a lot of people. Like me, myself, I was sitting, but there were people that were literally with their face glued to the floor and other people on them. And there were this guy that he was here, and he would scream to people, "Please help me, I'm about to die. I can't move." He was just on the floor, and with silliness, I tried to get my arm under the people to try to do some force up so he could breathe a little, but I guess it didn't help whatsoever. And I did to myself a speech, and I said, "Rafa, this is the end. That's it. From here, you're not getting out. If God wants you to go like this, you have nothing to do. I think to myself that I have nothing to do with the situation, and it's better if I don't think about this. I would pass out. I would wake up nowhere. I would talk to God and say, please, why don't you take me already? I'm suffering. And I would think to myself, how much time does it take to a human being to be without air so that they die? How much time can a human being not breathe? And then I wouldn't see anything, and I would scream to Rafa, Rafa, are you still alive? And he would say yes, or moan, or do something. And then I would say, Hanani, amor, that's babe or love. Where are you? Are you there?
No answer.
No answer. And I would go back to my own thoughts. I saw a guy, he was coming inside, and he would go inside and scream, Mi adain b'chaim, Michai adain, Michai! And scream the name of his girlfriend. No, didn't understand. I thought he was a terrorist. And there were a few people moaning in pain, crying. When he got inside, everyone became very quiet because we didn't know if he was a terrorist or not. Rafa, that don't know how to speak Hebrew as well as I do, he got outside because he thought that this man was a terrorist because he couldn't take it anymore being inside here. And he went outside.
Wait,
he thought it's a terrorist, and then he got outside.
He wanted what, to be killed?
Yeah. There were other people that did that in the shelter. They would scream, I'm gonna kill myself, and got out, and we heard the gunshots because they were saying, I can't breathe, I can't take it anymore. Somehow I pushed the people that were on me, and I got up. Then I told him, please take me. I just looked at him and said, "B'kasha totzi oti mipo." Please just take me out of here. And he said, like, come, boy, come fast. Before I stepped between me and him, I just then realized that from here to the entrance, there were a lot of bodies. And then the shock came in and just stood still for a few seconds. I looked at people's phones. There were a lot of phones thrown inside of the shelter, and I would see mom, dad, babe, honey, brother, like the names of the people calling. And I would think to myself, these parents are calling this person that is so exploded that I can't even tell them how he looked. And I took my first step.
On them?
On the bodies. I tried not to.
You can't.
And I don't know if you believe in God or don't, or maybe I was just hallucinating. But then I heard a voice, a male voice in my ear. And that's not possible because I couldn't hear. And I heard a very clear voice telling me, do not step on people's heads, in Hebrew. I was getting outside, and I started to look for Hanani because I didn't know where he was. And I would try to analyze the bodies, and no, he's too fat, or he's too tall, or he has a tattoo that he doesn't have, or this doesn't quite much look at him. And I got to Daniel, and then I got here with him. When I got here, I saw Rafa. Rafa was sitting pretty much here, just dropped to the floor, just like this. And I screamed at him. I said, I think Hanani died. I think he's dead. Hanani died. Trying to understand what that meant, to convince myself, yes. I was saying, Hanani died, and he was like, talvez não seja nessa vida ainda, mas você ainda vai ser a minha vida. Então a gente vai fugir pro mar. Eu vou pedir pra namorar.
What would that be the message?
Wake up. Wake the hell up. Because what happened here and the trauma that I carry through all of my life will not be forgotten, because I can't. Physically, I can't. Mentally, psychologically, I can't forget. It's something that's stuck with me for the rest of my life. All the things that I saw, heard, felt, my body cooking itself inside of there. This is a fucking gas chamber, like you had in Poland. And the same year that the 7th of October happened, I was in Poland to see concentration camps in the name of my family. They were killed and chased in the time of the Holocaust. And that's the situation that I find myself in 2023.